Who Wrote This Shit is a comedy podcast where three friends talk about bad books. Opinions are subjective, but if we hurt anyone's feelings, we apologize in advance. Also, there are times where we talk about graphic and explicit content. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello! Long time
Hi.
long time no see. Long time no talk. A long time no read.
Yes.
Welcome to Who Wrote This Shit, where we read bad books so you don't have to, or controversial books, we might open that up a little bit, but today it's just me and Juniper.
Yes. And honey, because if you hear rustling in the background or me going ow, it's from my cat who is just starved for attention today.
Yeah, you might hear some band music in the background. David is having band practice. They have a show coming up, so they're practicing. So if you can hear it, I apologize. And if it's not your kind of music, I don't care. I have to listen to it every weekend, so. What are we talking about today, Juniper?
We are talking about Pride and Promiscuity. Actually, where did the book go? I had it. I think Honey knocked it off. Just a second. Yep, there it is. It's on the floor.
Yeah, I lost it, and then I had to find it again, and then I lost it again. I think I lost this book like 5 times, but I found it.
It's a small book.
It's, for how... Don't be mad at me, Juniper. But I didn't finish the last story, which is Persuasion, the prequel.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't, because halfway through this book, I remembered that I really hate Jane Austen. And I don't care for her books. So I checked out.
Yeah. I didn't... Throughout this book, there's the, editor's note or whatever at the top, or
There's a preface.
Yeah.
And it just kind of explains how they found the... Okay, I guess we should start that this is by Ariel Eckstadt and Dennis Ashton.
Yes.
And So the back of the book says, in 1999, 2 amateur Jane Austen scholars staying at an English estate stumbled upon a hidden cache of manuscript pages and made the literary discovery of the century, the lost sex scenes from Jane Austen's novels. Published here for the first time, the lost pages display Emma taking self-satisfaction to a whole new level and reveal Henry Crawford's thorough exploration of brotherly love at Mansfield Park. Have you ever wondered what really happened in the drawing rooms of Austen's beloved characters' pride and promiscuity? Will satisfy your curiosity and a whole lot more. It didn't. It satisfied nothing for me. Well, except for Charlotte's story.
Does yours say 1999? Mine says 2002.
Yeah. What is your... Mine looks like this. What does yours look like?
Oh, mine looks like this.
They don't look the same. Hold on. Can we... I want to take a snapshot of... Wait, hold it up.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
I'm going to take a screenshot of this.
I want to cover my face. There we go.
Hold on. La Paz? What's that? I don't have La Paz on here. And then I'm gonna paste it. Okay, because Oh, I gotta get a better one. This one's garbage. Okay, hold on. So so this is mine. Okay, so print screen. And then I'm gonna paste it in Paint. And then I'm gonna open a new one. Ooh, I won't cancel.
Oh
All
my
right, what
gosh.
does your back like? Okay, does your back say the same thing though?
Mine says, okay. Mine
You
says in
read
2000.
what yours says. Okay.
Yeah, so mine says in 2002, an amateur Jane Austen scholar, while staying at Hertfordshire estate, stumbled upon a hidden cache of manuscript pages and made an extraordinary literary discovery, lost scenes from Jane Austen's novels that reveal as an altogether different dimension of her. Oh no, I don't actually know what this word is. Over. What?
Let me. How do you spell it?
Oeuvre.
Hold on.
Yeah, what?
How? How to say O-U-E-O-U
O-E-U.
V-E-R?
Okay.
O-E
O-E-U-V-R-E.
V-R-E. Au revoir.
Oh my god. Wait, how does that make sense?
Au revoir. Oh, ouvre.
To her au revoir? Okay, yeah. Okay.
Ouvre.
Oeuvre.
Ouvre.
What does it mean?
Let me look it up. The works of a writer, painter, or the like, taken as a whole. It's a French word. So
Okay,
basically, it's just the works of the person that is artistic. Ouvre.
That seems incredibly unnecessary for the back of the book, but that's just me.
Okay.
And then it says, Pride and Prejudice's Bingley sisters appear as sapphic seductresses. Mansfield Park's incest subtext becomes manifest, and Darcy gets more than his shirt wet.
When was your book published?
Yeah, I was gonna ask the same thing. 2001? Copyright 2001?
Mine says the same thing.
First published in the UK in 2003. This paperback edition published in 2010. When was yours?
I'm trying to find that. Where'd you find that?
Right before contents.
Does yours say to David and Fran with all our love? Is yours dedicated to anybody?
Like somebody wrote in it, or it's printed?
Like it's printed.
I believe.
Mine was made in 2001.
Oh shit! So there might be edits in yours. Or I mean mine, sorry.
Yeah, yours is newer. So we realistically probably didn't read the same fucking book, if I'm understanding this correctly.
Yeah. Okay, let's go through all of the stories and talk about... Because there's not that many stories.
So they're broken up into the different books she wrote. So there's like the preface and the introduction, where the preface just kind of talks about how they found the book.
Yeah.
And
I didn't read it. I didn't read that part. I went straight to the stories.
I read it.
I didn't. I read part of it, and then I was like, you know what? This is boring. And I just went straight to the stories.
So the preface was written by the two people that found, in air quotes, the manuscripts.
Yeah.
And then the introduction was written by, like, a lawyer or something that they sent it to, or they sent it to, like, a Jane Austen PhD person. I don't know if this person actually is, but that's what they said. That's the introduction.
Mm-hmm. In my introduction, it says 1999 and not 2002.
Maybe they got the Maybe it's
Okay,
a
honey. You are being
maybe.
so fucking cute right now.
Okay. Well, anyways, I don't think it matters too much. It's like what, 4 year difference, 3 year difference. Okay.
Yeah. Do you
So,
want to just go through the contents basically, and we can talk about the
yeah,
stories just
yeah,
in case they're different?
yeah. Well, I didn't read the last story, and I got bored of the brotherly love with Henry, with whatever his name is. Anyway, I'd never read. I've only
That
read
was my
Jane.
favorite story out of all of these.
I like the one with Charlotte.
I can't remember which one that one was. Oh,
That's
Charlotte
that
and
Charlotte
Mr.
and Mr.
Collins.
Collins. Yeah. Okay, we'll get into it.
That one
Okay.
was pretty good too. Okay,
Okay.
so
So
first of all, how many letters do you have in Pride and Prejudice? I have 4.
hold on. Okay. So the contents is broken up by Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, Mansfield Park,
Mm-hmm.
Emma,
Mm-hmm.
Northanger Abbey,
Mm-hmm.
Persuasion,
Mm-hmm.
and the last one is the Watsons.
Yes.
Okay. So within Pride and Prejudice, the first part of the book is the letters, Jane at Netherfield, Elizabeth and Darcy, and then Charlotte and Mr. Collins.
Yes,
That
that's what I
okay?
have too. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's walk through those.
Okay.
My God, hold on, I gotta go through the. So, uh, let's see. So the letters are like what, between her and her editor or something, or her printer, about
I
the
I want
sex
to say
scenes.
it's I want to say it's either the editor or whoever is running the publisher.
Yeah. So I have one letter, and I have two letters, and then I'm
I
at Jane at
have
Netherfield.
yes.
So you only have two letters?
Well, I have um the letters. I have to Thomas.
Egerton?
Yeah, and
Okay.
then my dear Cassandra. Yeah, 2.
Okay.
Um
So I'm assuming they have the same content. So basically, there's one letter to her editor that she's saying that she doesn't want to cut the sex scenes out.
mhm,
And then the next letter is just her complaining to her sister about having to cut the sex scenes out.
yeah.
That's pretty much it. And then Jane at Netherfield is that scene in Pride and Prejudice where um her mom sends her to the what's the place called? Netherfield?
Yeah.
Right.
Um
Where
sends
her
her over there knowing that she's going to get sick.
right, she knows she's going to catch a cold and then she stays
Yeah.
there. This has like a different reason why Jane stays there. And it's so she like goes to bed, right? And then the first night there, uh it's basically a threesome between her, Mr. Bingley's sister, and the mom or cousin.
Uh
Who's Mrs. Hurst?
One of the sisters. So it's 2 sisters
Two
and
sisters.
yeah,
Jane.
Jane.
And
Um this wasn't my favorite story
mm-mm.
because it was a little rapey and coercive for my taste. um
Yeah, like
yeah.
so so sh so they're like, "Oh, we need to see like she feels obligated to part." So like the two sisters sneak into Jane's room that she's staying in. And then
Mhm.
the two sisters basically like because of society rules, she has to participate in activities that are put together by the hostess. And seeing as this as an activity put together by the hostess, she she, out of obligation, participates.
Yeah. It's a
And
pretty
and like
yeah.
the last paragraph is what hit me, because she's like, tricked by the calculations of the Bingley sisters. Jane bitterly rebuked herself for her gullible and trusting nature. It was some hours before she could stop her tears, and some days before she felt well enough to leave her bedroom. But basically, like, after they coerce her to have like sexual like relations with them, they basically tell her, "Oh, you're loose, so you don't deserve to be with our brother."
Yeah.
So they basically tricked her, and I felt dirty after I read that.
It was not my favorite thing to read.
Mm-mm.
And I read a story about a brother and sister twins who were also doing some incestuous activities, and that made me feel so uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and that is how I felt while I was reading this.
There was
Did not finish that, by the way. Could not.
as soon as I read that, like, something has like, if there's like any sense at all that there's like incestuous nature in it, I don't read it. Or I can't.
um yeah.
Yeah.
See, I went into this like there's no way that it's actually going to be a brother and sister, right? And then it was a brother and sister. And
Yeah.
and then so I quit reading it because I hated it so much. It made me feel so uncomfortable. I kind of like skipped to the middle of it, and it was like actually a oh, what do you call it? Somebody came back. They were reincarnated. There we go. There were two lovers that were reincarnated, and they reincarnated in the twins. So they were always drawn together. Um and then they pulled this sort of like, oh, the mom made a deal with the devil, so the brother wasn't actually technically related to the sister, even though they came out of the same womb at the same time. And I was like, excuses, excuses. No, no, no. It is incest. Like,
I
the
I mean, like,
publisher was like, we cannot publish this until you make some sort of caveat to this, like some sort of it's okay because they're not actually brother and sister. They were still brother and sister.
right, it there's a whole reason why, like, a lot of health issues on top of it, but also like a lot of reasons why that's not okay.
It's
But
taboo. I don't know. Well,
like, it's like
the setting of this story was like Middle Ages, and like back then it
even
wasn't
they
actually
didn't.
that weird.
Well, like,
um
well, I mean, I guess depending on the culture, because I guess Egypt did it because they wanted to keep their royal line pure.
right, and
But and like you're
also different royal families and stuff. But
well, they at least try to like spread it so it's like you can marry your first cousin, who then becomes like your uncle or something like that. Or it it was a weird time back then, and
yes,
genetic issues were a thing, and we learned that, and I hope we've all learned from it. But
it's
some
just
books,
gross.
yeah. So
It's
the
taboo
next,
for a reason.
yeah. Um, so the next thing they talk about is Elizabeth and Darcy, and this is like, uh, this is after Elizabeth rejected his marriage proposal, and her aunt and uncle go visit his place because I guess he does tours because it's like a fucking castle or some shit.
Hmm.
and then him and Elizabeth like go Pemberley. They meet at Pemberley. And him and Elizabeth go off, look at the gardens and stuff. And then it's just your usual, romance novel sex scene.
Yeah, it's really not that. Yeah.
It's just two people having sex in the garden.
They
That's
weren't
it.
even. They were mutually pleasuring themselves. There was no, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They both consented to it. So
Yeah, that's the part that I like the most, the consent part.
oh man, nothing turns on a person like consent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
But I think my favorite one has to be the Charlotte and Mr. Collins story
Uh-huh.
because it's like after they get married and stuff, and it's like after they had a dinner with Lady Catherine de Bourgh, or however you say her name, and she's like she like found a dress or something. Oh, I guess Lady Catherine gave Charlotte a dress,
Mm-hmm.
and she put it on or something. I'm trying to remember. It's been
She
a while.
she puts it on over her clothes,
Yeah.
and then she starts mimicking what she starts talking like Lady Catherine and like mimicking mannerisms and stuff to such an extent that
It
Mr.
and
Cullen thinks
it
that Lady Catherine is still there. So,
well, like I just found the part where she picks up a riding crop and and that's where things start to get spicy because he walks in on her wearing Lady Catherine's dress and she's like mimicking her and stuff.
mhm,
And then he gets all hot and bothered about it.
yeah. Um, yeah. It's
It it's a BDSM scene. Well, I would say
yeah.
light, very light.
Light, yes, very light. Everything in here is very light. Did you notice that? Like,
Yeah, it's not like I guess when you think of it in the context of like the 1800s, like the thought of a guy getting whipped by a woman with a crop is like, ooh, scandalous. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
also
but it's
think
also
that there
like in
was
this day and age,
smut
it's
going
like
around back then too that was far better
a
than
little bit
this.
more, yeah. This was for like uh these books were like what women had in their house to like for guests and shit or whatever. But I thought that one was pretty funny
Mm-hmm.
because she gets him to
Yeah.
bark like a dog and stuff. And it's like again, there's consent in this where he definitely starts to partake in it, and he's like, "This is what I'm into," and she's
Yeah.
like, "This is what I'm into."
Yeah.
So, and then so that's all they did for Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah.
And then, do you want to talk about what happened in? So the next section is Sense and Sensibility. Do you want to talk about the two stories in that section?
Sure.
Okay.
The first one is Such Devoted Sisters. Blah blah. So basically, this story is about what are the sisters' names? There's Eleanor, Marianne, just two, right?
Yeah, there's just
Eleanor
talk.
and Marianne, and it's
Yeah.
them just basically talking about all the unsavory, unladylike things that they've done. But it
Yeah.
does not really explain anything. So the sister, Marianne, kind of tells Eleanor something
Mm-hmm.
that happened with Willoughby, and her sister is aghast. And since Marianne said that, she was like, now you have to tell me because I shared this with you. It's a give and take. And so Eleanor says something that's not really talked about. They don't say what it is or what happened or anything like that.
Yeah.
But Marianne is like, holy shit, no way. So it must be something ridiculous.
Yeah, I think like Marianne says like he put my hand on top of his pants. And Eleanor's like, "What? No way." And then Eleanor just isn't that
It was something like Marianne's boob came out and then he touched her boob.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's right.
then she decided to go downtown on herself or
That's
something.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then there's Eleanor, in all her customary steady composure, had related to her sister. Astounded and gleeful, Marianne cried, "And you chastised me about my behavior with Willoughby. Is that fair? Compared to you, it is as if I only spoke of the weather or the roads." And here again, out of her sheer delight in her dear sister's outraged propriety, she shrieked loudly and with abandon. And then their mom came in, but
Yeah.
it never
It
says
never
what Eleanor did.
Yeah. 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 It
Yeah.
never and it kind of like alludes that Eleanor did something worse, but it's like I don't know.
Yeah. My goodness. Oh my goodness, you're so purry. You're so cute. Oh my goodness. All right, so
I'm just waiting for your moment to be over.
the next one is the Palmers. Oh my gosh, I don't remember this one at all. Let's see here. Mr. Palmer did have several hearty laughs, blah blah blah. Oh, okay. This is the one where the Palmers, two married people, the wife talks a lot, the husband is kind of quiet, and he wants to go to sleep, but the wife wants to um, do the horizontal
Oh.
tango. And she got some sort of like lingerie or something from somewhere, and so she's
Hmm.
wearing it, and he's just kind of like, I'd rather sleep. And that's basically
Yeah.
all that is. She's very talkative, and he's like, I just want to go to bed.
And I think we've all been like, I'm just too tired.
Oh, look at you. So cute. Yes.
Yeah, she's just trying to get him to like acknowledge that she looks good in like her chimneys or whatever they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, at the end, he's like, fine, if it makes you shut up so I can go to sleep, I'll tell you you look great. And she's like,
Yeah.
oh, thank you.
Um, and then the play. This one I was.
So this is part of the Mansfield section, the
Yeah.
play.
Yeah,
So,
Mansfield Park.
yeah,
I don't remember the last time I read or watched a Mansfield Park.
I've
So I don't
never read
remember
it or
very.
watched it.
I don't remember like what this is for or what it pertains to or what the hell is going on. Like what the context for this is. I have no idea.
Yeah, I also had. Okay, so I barely read Pride and Prejudice. Barely. I hated it. I hated it with every fiber of my being. I hated the characters, all of them. and I kind of started reading Emma, and then I started reading Jane Eyre, and then I was like, this is my kind of writing. Jane
Mm-hmm.
Austen is just a little too flowery for me. So like I didn't read anything past like what was expected of me, which was Pride and Prejudice. So Mansfield Park, I also have zero idea of what's going on.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. They're putting on an unsavory play, and they
Hmm.
don't wear that many clothes in the play. Um,
Yeah.
and one person is like, should we be doing this? And then the other person is like, don't be such a prude. um, but in the end, they do it, and I really just don't. This was one of the more boring ones for me, too. Like, first,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. I don't know
Second,
who any of these people are.
yeah,
And second,
yeah.
sorry.
Second, I don't, like, are they siblings? Are they related somehow? Like, what's going on here? I have no idea.
Are they friends? Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I just have no idea what's going on in
No
this one.
idea.
Like, let's be honest. And it's boring.
Yeah. Nope.
Oh, soon the baize was on the ground. Soon Bernard's cloak and hat were cast away. Now the removable panel built into the front of Fanny's uniform had been torn off in a rage by Mimsy, thus causing the uniform to drop to the floor, and there Fanny stood, mute, trembling, exposed in only her underclothes, before Edmund, the cousin, whose modesty and rectitude had long been an example to her, but who had now, it seemed, risen most unexpectedly to this peculiar occasion, and Miss Crawford, the friend for whose affection she had often been grateful, but whose motives, especially with regard to Edmund, Fanny had never been able to regard without some suspicion and occasional dismay. All except Fanny were now entirely naked. So,
I don't know what's going on in this scene. I don't know what's
I
going
don't.
on in this book.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I guess I could look up like the synopsis of what Mansfield Park is about. Um, I just don't care to.
Yeah.
So,
Let's see here. Henry and Mary Crawford.
yeah, this one I also found boring.
This is the incestuous one.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
Yeah.
they're cousins raised as brother and sister. Like,
Oh,
no,
is that
wait,
right? I thought
Fanny
they were
and
brother and sister.
oh no, that's Fanny and Edmund. Um, Henry and Mary
Yeah.
Crawford.
To this accusation, her brother gave only lazy sort of smile. They are
The
brother and
ince-
sister.
the incestuous subtext of all their cross brother sister romance has been much commented on, especially by modern and postmodern critics.
Yep.
But in the recovered scene below, subtext becomes text, and much recent trendy scholarship is rendered forever obsolete as the question of the limits of love between family members is taken to its extreme. I
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So this
when
one's
I
this one's
didn't
just
read
like,
this one.
oh, you did not read this one.
As
I
soon
did.
as I read that it was brother and sister and incestuous undertones, um, I skipped it
Yeah. No, I get that.
because I didn't want to read that. So
See,
I'll let
here's
you
the
talk
thing.
about it.
Here's the thing.
Hmm.
I didn't read the like prefaces before the stories.
Yeah.
So I read it without knowing about any of that.
Yeah, it talks
But
about it in there.
so basically just two brother and sisters talking and teasing each other, and it gets out of hand.
Uh, Yes, inappropriately out of hand, I'm gonna assume. And then the next section is Emma. And the first story within that is called Emma Alone, which is basically just Emma looking at herself in the mirror. And she's just feeling herself, understanding that she's very attractive, and then
Yeah.
she literally starts feeling herself
Yeah.
very
It's
intimately.
basically just Emma being like a
Emma.
narcissist for like 3 pages.
Well, like, it's funny because, like, she starts to masturbate, but she doesn't, like, finish because she doesn't want to ruin, like, the flesh of her skin because she doesn't want to make it too red. She wants to make it, like, pink and, like, cute versus,
Well,
like,
and she wants to like keep control of herself.
yeah,
She gets satisfaction out of knowing that she can control herself.
yeah, let's see. One ought to know how to conduct oneself with decorum at all times and in all circumstances. Moreover, to have the ability to control oneself was yet another reason to be pleased with oneself, or so Emma believed. And so Emma congratulated herself once again for her complete self-command. And it's like, I mean, I feel like you could indulge if you wanted to. It's not like anyone's there. No one's gonna know. But she'll know, I guess.
She'll just get too pink. She'll get too red. She'll start getting
She'll
a little.
start having those inappropriate thoughts. Can't have those.
She already has those inappropriate thoughts.
I know, and they're all about herself.
About herself.
I mean, like, it's. I mean, I kind of liked this one. It's kind of funny, like a little, like, it wasn't taking itself too seriously.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely playing on the whole self-centered, only think about yourself and how great you are thing.
Yeah, because the last sentence, is, "What an honor to be me."
Yeah.
And that's just where her story ends.
Obviously, the author of this book did not think very highly of Emma, which is fine, because I don't think very highly of Emma, and actually I think that's one of the more boring Jane Austen novels as well.
I found Emma to be insufferable, and the fact that she was the main character drove me nuts, so I stopped reading after, like, chapter 5.
Yeah, I don't
So no, I don't know what happens.
Yeah. I watched the movie and could barely finish that too.
I started the BBC miniseries on it, and then I got through episode. I did finish that.
It's probably better than the one that
they released as a. Well, no, because I was like, why is Mr. Knightley with her? He's too good for her. Like, I don't understand why he's with her.
It's better than the one that they did with Gwyneth Paltrow.
Was that the new one where it's like all pastel-y? Or is it another one?
New as in like 2002. I don't know when
I think they had one come out like 2 years ago. Let me see if I can find it.
Let me see.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah, let me see if I can find it.
There's just always some updated version of a Jane Austen book. Emma.
2021. Wait,
Damn.
no.
What? I had no idea that they made a new
yeah.
Movie.
Yeah, it's just called Emma with a period at the end of it. And it has it stars the woman who did Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, okay.
And then she was in the Witch. That scary movie. The Witch. Which is considered like the most perfect horror movie ever made. And I actually do agree with
I
that.
mean, it's pretty good. Like the atmosphere,
Music.
music, everything that happened was
It,
good. And then at the end,
yeah.
she was like, "Fuck y'all, I'm gonna be a witch," and I love that.
Yeah, like everyone got killed, and then she's just like sitting alone in the cabin. And then and then the goat's like, "You want to follow me to the woods and be a witch?" And she's like, "Yeah,
But fuck yeah, I do.
yeah,
Look,
I do
if a
now."
goat came into my house and was like, "Do you want to follow me and be a witch?" I'd be like,
You want to come be a witch?
"Look, this took a really long time for you to ask me. Let's go. I'm already ready. Let's go. I'm gonna fucking
It's
strip
like you
down
didn't
butt naked and just like rise up
fly
into the
into the
air."
air. Yeah. It's like you didn't have to
And
kill my whole
also,
family to
I'm
get me
gonna,
to come join you. I mean, I just would
yeah, I
have.
would have done it anyway.
Yeah, I know. Oh my god.
Also, that goat is going to be taken so well care of. I'm just gonna take the greatest care of that goat.
Well, he turns into the devil. He doesn't stay a goat forever. He
It
joins
doesn't
in.
matter. I love goats. I love goats. I'm
I mean,
gonna, if it
goats
turns into a devil, I'm gonna be like, whoa, that's pretty
be
neat.
like,
Turn
just
back
be like,
into a goat
I
though.
to a goat. I'm not a Satanist because of Satan. I'm a Satanist because of goats.
Goats.
Just want to make that clear.
I love goats. I love their tummies. I love how they can climb basically anything. I love how they scream at me all the time. I love that my cat kind of looks like a goat.
Oh my god. Yeah,
My
David, I'm
mom
like, if
this
we ever
morning,
get, yeah.
so Honey's been really super attention-y today, and I was making my coffee and she kept you know when cats they like just want to show you that they love you or something. They just want to like let you know they
Mhm.
care. So they stretch
Mhm.
on your leg. She was doing that, except for I need to cut her nails. So I was like, ow, stop. But she kept doing it and she just looked at me with the sweetest little and like that slow blink, and my mom was like, "What is going on over there? Like is there an animal over there that's hurting you? Why are you saying ow?" And I was like, "No, yeah, like Honey is being really needy right now." And then Honey uh oh, hello? Aaron?
Oh no, Juniper, you froze.
Oh, you
I see you.
left. You were gone.
I know, I saw me blink out of
Yeah.
existence, and
What?
then I blinked back in. I was just sitting, like this,
Okay.
just listening to your story, and then the next thing I know, I'm out of existence, and now I'm back in
Yeah,
existence.
you're gone.
I was
So
gone, and I was like, the fuck?
obviously the devil is like, yeah, trying to give us a sign. Sure, take this goat. Um,
Right.
but
What were we talking
so
about?
my sister, oh my god, she's in West Virginia. My mom calls Honey and is like, "Why are you being such a what'd she say? Like a silly cat or something like that." And Honey walks by and kind of towards the stairs, and my mom looks at me and she's like, "Have you ever noticed that she kind of is shaped like a goat?" And I was like, yes, I have. She does kind of have that like shapely figure, yes. Or should I say sheeply figure? Except for they're not related.
No, they're not. They're not even remotely close to each other. But
um Anyways, she looks like a goat.
yeah, David and I have said that if we ever get a house with land, uh, he wants
What do you mean
chickens.
that hill isn't your land? You don't consider that good land?
I mean, I just got a fucking hill behind my house that just goes straight up. But I mean, like, a house in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. We got a couple of acres with some woods and shit. And like after we saw the witch, I was like, can we like build like a shack or something that looks like someone lives there just to freak people out? And David's
Yeah.
like, absolutely, yeah, we can. And I was like, great. I'll use it as my hidey hole.
Hell
And
yeah.
then David was like, I want chickens. And I was like, I'm not, no. You
No
want
chickens?
chickens, they can be. No, those fuckers. Are you kidding me? They peck at you and like they chase you. And it's just like, it's just so much easier to go to the store and just get eggs. I mean,
Disagree.
you can, look,
I would
you
love
don't
to
have
have
to live with
chickens.
me. You can disagree with me all you want. But I told David if he wants chickens, he can have them on his own land somewhere else. And then I was like, okay, how about this?
Think
I'll
about
compromise.
you could sell the eggs though. You could make a little bit of cash on the side.
I don't give two shits about chickens, just like I don't give two shits about deer. I fucking hate deer. They're the dumbest things in the world. That's
Wow,
a
you have
different rant for a
opinions.
different time. I have strong opinions. But I told
Okay.
David that as a compromise, if he can have chickens, if I can have like baby pygmy goats. And he's like, why? It's like, why the fuck do you care? You get your chickens, I get my pygmy goats. Why does the white matter? And he's like,
I want
okay.
I want pigs really bad.
I don't.
I mean pigs. Pigs.
You just want to farm.
I do want a farm. All right.
Anyway,
Back to the
okay.
book.
Uh, let's see. Can you hear the band? They're playing a cover of Nirvana's most popular song, Entertainer.
Well, I can't.
Do,
I
do,
can
do,
hear the
do,
band,
do.
but I
Do, do,
can't. I
do,
can't
do, do.
decipher what it
Do, do.
is.
It's their cover of Nirvana. It's a very bass heavy version of it. A lot of harsh
Okay.
vocals. Right, the next
Knightley
song,
and
next song.
Churchill.
I
Next
didn't get this
story.
one.
You didn't get it? It's
Um,
about a bi man who's trying to seduce a guy who has
oh, Churchill's trying to
feelings.
seduce Knightley, and
Yeah.
Knightley's like, I mean, I have feelings, but like, I don't like these feelings.
Yeah, Churchill's basically like, I'm not a modern enough man to uh like understand and try to get into these feelings that you are making me feel. So, you
Hmm.
need to get out of my house.
Yeah, and Mr. Churchill's like, he's like, I'm just like really attracted to you, Mr. Knightley. He's like, I mean, I'm attracted to Emma, but I'm also attracted to you. So I'm like in a no lose-lose situation. I'm in a
Yeah.
win-win situation.
Yeah.
So oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. See here, I am to see our beloved Emma first off tomorrow.
Yeah, this one, I thought it was just long. And I think I
It
checked out halfway through it.
it was pretty long. It's one of the longer ones, I think, but I enjoyed it a lot. I liked this one. Maybe it's because it's a little gay. I might have just liked that.
I mean, I like that it's a little gay. I would have liked it if it was like fully gay, you know? But what are you
Oh,
gonna
oh.
do?
What is it that you want? Said Mr. Knightley in a flush of confusion and, to his great displeasure, stimulation. So, I mean, I guess you don't have to be. I mean, this is kind of like. There was no coercion going on. In my opinion, there was no coercion going on in here. Like,
No.
um, you know,
I think I think there's some uncomfortability.
yeah, stepping out of your comfort zone. But like,
Yeah.
you don't have
Oh.
to be, like, I don't know how to say this, like gay or bi to like get stimulated by something. You know, like your body's
Mhm.
just gonna do what it's gonna do regardless of.
Yeah, it's attracted to whoever it's attracted to.
Well, I mean, it's a bodily function, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I choose to believe. I choose to believe that there is a little bit of gay in him. I think that
I,
is.
I
And I think
mean,
it makes
just
him
a little.
uncomfy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, it's kind of like Churchill was like, oh, I have, like, a riddle for you. And the riddle is like, I will tell you now, for all 'tis worth, you are looking for a patch of earth, with exclamation to the letter, not myself nor I could do better. It is the first of three that tells this tale, and then in parentheses it's like a pun, or rather a clue, sir, that you shall see when I write it down. In parentheses, and then outside is like, uh, and completes the word to great avail. And then it's just like Mr. Knightley like putting it together for like the next page and a half.
Yeah.
Uh, it's funny.
Yep.
And then, but so that's all they did for Emma. And the next one was Northanger Abbey, which is Henry and Catherine. Don't remember this one. Like, okay, here's the thing. All of these are
I
like
remember
different stories. I don't remember a lot of them because a lot of them, most of them, except for maybe two, are like worth remembering.
They're kind of boring. Like,
They
being called Pride and Promiscuity. The promiscuity in here is rather tame.
It's not really promiscuous.
No.
You know
well,
what I
okay.
mean?
And this one.
Yeah.
This one.
What happened in this one?
So this one. What book is this from again? Henry and Catherine is from
Northanger Abbey. I don't know that one.
Didn't read the book. If there's a movie, I didn't watch it, or at least I don't remember. But basically, this woman is at a guy's house staying there or something, a guest, I'm assuming, and she.
There is a movie, Juniper.
Cool.
Yeah.
I want to say that she thinks there's something unsavory going on, but not like sexually or any promiscuity. I think she thinks that like somebody's trying to murder someone, or like somebody was murdered, or something bad happened. So she decides to go in this guy's bedroom.
Oh, yeah, and she finds like
She finds sex toys. And then she is trying to figure out, because she has no idea what they are. She's trying to figure out what they are. And she recognizes like a whip for horses, but it's smaller. And she's just trying to figure out all of these sex toys that she's found. And so then Henry comes in and he's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, oh, I thought murder. And he was like, that's ridiculous. Let me show you what these are for. And then,
And then he does.
And then he does.
Yeah.
It says, blah, blah, blah. Miss Moreland, he said, we have both misbehaved. You by having entertained such suspicions of my family as led you to investigate this room without permission. I by having to failed bring you here myself, and long ago. Miss Moreland, let us each atone for what we have done. They did, and Catherine began to learn a little of the penalties and pleasures that an inflamed imagination might produce. So they banged.
Yeah. They had the sex.
Yeah. So most of these stories are just like lead up to the sex, and then it just kind of stops there.
They drop off.
Yeah. Which, if you really wanted to make... Well, I don't know. I guess they're trying to, like, make it seem like it would actually be in the book. But if you wanted to actually make something with the sex scenes in it, wouldn't you just put the sex scenes in it and not just kind of, like, talk around it? Right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I guess. Let's look up. So, the definition of promiscuity. The fact or state of being promiscuous. Okay. And the definition of promiscuous is just someone that has or is involved with many sexual partners. And it's a book that has many sexual partners, but not with like other people. It's just like with the characters you expected. Like it's always between like 2 or 3 people. Well, there's only one with 3 people, I think.
Well, there's that, play. There's a
Oh
bunch of
yeah.
people in that one. Like, a lot
I
of
don't know
people.
what was going on with
I
that
have
one.
no idea either.
Everyone ended up naked.
I'm sure that has something to do with some... I can't even remember what book that was from. Anyways.
Yeah. And then the last was Persuasion, the prequel.
Yeah.
I didn't read this one. I didn't read the last 2 because I got bored.
This one was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
This one, I mean, not that there was, like, sex or anything in it. It was just, like, a story, basically. Which,
Yeah.
And again, because I don't remember any of these Jane Austen books or the movies, other than Pride and Prejudice, because my mom loves that movie. She loves the book and she loves the movie, and she will watch it over and over and over again. So I know that
I
one,
hated the movie, but I loved the miniseries with Colin Firth.
Yeah, well, it has Colin Firth. Like, come on.
And that fountain scene.
See, I like it because I like, what was that BBC miniseries where the woman
Lost in Austin.
Lost in Austin? Ah, fucking
that was so good.
That was so good.
I love Lost in Austin. That's like the only time traveling, well, other than Doctor Who, but like I hate time traveling stories or where they go to like a different place or something like that, because they have to like give up something. Like they either give up what I don't like them, but I really liked how they did Lost in Austin.
Yeah,
because
well,
like
it's
everyone
not really time
gets
travel.
what
She's
they
just
want.
in the book.
Yeah. But I guess it is kind of time travel because it is in the 1800s, but it's also in a book. Yeah. But I thought the way they ended it was really good because like everyone got what they wanted in the end.
So,
anyways,
let's see. So I guess if I can surmise what this book was about, it was about, and I'm probably totally off base here, but what I can gather from this is that, let's see here. What is the name? Lady Russell. Is that? There's Sir Walter and there's Lady Russell. And they, I think, from what I can get from this, in the actual book, because this is just a prequel, in the actual book, it's about 2 people who had been dating previously, and then they broke things off, and then later they met up again and like fell in love again, I think. So the reason that they broke things off in the book, according to Pride and Promiscuity, is because Lady Russell's sister caught them boning in a boat. So they couldn't see each other anymore.
But if you get caught, you're supposed to get married to that person. Otherwise, you're ruined. End quotes.
That's not how it happened.
Oh
So,
my
yeah,
god.
basically, this guy, Captain Wentworth, was like, I've not been on a rowboat for a really long time. And she was like, well, there's one over there. We never use it. And he was like, why don't we go try it? And she was like, yeah, cool, let's do that. And then they were talking, and then they both were making each other feel a certain way, and then decided to do the
Do the deed.
On the boat.
Here's, I don't get like the appeal of like having sex like
On a
I
tiny
guess
rowboat? No, I don't
yeah,
either. That doesn't,
or like outside. It's like why?
I watched, oh my god, it's a Marvel movie, it's not Immortals, is it?
Immortals?
No, it's not.
I haven't seen any Marvel movies since the last one with Thanos.
Oh, he's
The
in a
last,
few.
well, like the end of that whole saga was the last one I saw.
Oh, what is it? Marvel movies. Shang-Chi, I loved that movie. Thor, Black Widow, Avengers. Okay, not helping. Okay, not helping. Not helping. Iron Man. No, I get it. Okay, let's just go in my Disney Plus.
You have Disney Plus?
I do, through Verizon. Switch it up.
What was that? Oh my gosh.
Maybe it is Immortal. Let me see. Marvel. Damn it. Eternals. It's called Eternals.
Oh,
It's similar. The words I was thinking of were similar. So it's called
they
Eternals.
like mean the same thing.
Wow, that took a really long time for this short little tidbit that I have. So I watched Eternals yesterday.
Yeah.
And there was a scene where two of the Eternals were having sex on a beach. And the whole time I was like, I don't care if you're an Eternal. You cannot have sex on a beach. You think about where all that sand is going. Think about where all that sand is going.
Like, well, one, that's like public indecency. You know, can get arrested for that.
It was back in Babylon, so I don't think they had that yet.
Babylon?
The city?
Oh.
Back in like 8400.
I mean, they might have. I know
yeah,
they weren't a big fan of. I don't know. But it's like, it's so impractical. Because you can get like an infection from like sand. And you know, there's like little. What are those like sand hoppers that are in the beach that like tend to pop out when you're walking on the beach? They're like little white crabby
sand
thingies.
fleas, or I don't know.
Yeah. Something like that. It's like you're gonna open yourself up to that.
In
and
your
just
vagina.
have like right. It's like Not a lot of, like, most things are not supposed to go up in your vagina.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, oh, hi, Joopy. No, down, Joopy. It's, I don't know, it never made sense to me why you'd want to have sex on a beach. Anyways.
All right, last story. Oh, these are Richard Crosby's editorial comments.
Oh, so that doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
It's
That's
basically just, it's shaming Jane Austen for writing something so scandalous. He says, "As you, madame, innocently title your vile creation, indeed had me intrigued up to Elizabeth's urging Emma to visit Croydon. As in Susan, your characters were admirably delineated, engaging, and seemingly worthy of a tale. However, on Emma's arrival to Croydon, I was so appalled, so reviled by the behavior portrayed from this point to the very last line of your novel. I scarce have words to describe my disgust. I can only surmise, madame, that you have French blood coursing through your veins, and the very lowest of such blood at that. I will never be able to look at an innocent lamb in the same way again, nor will a bonnet appear the benevolent object it has always been in my heart. No, both these and so many others, a butter churn, a poker, a mop handle, are forever colored in my mind."
You know, he didn't have to put French blood in there.
Everybody was
Like,
racist back then. Racist.
extremely
Fucking...
racist.
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
So that was Pride and Promiscuity.
Pride and Promiscuity by Ariel Eckstutt and Dennis Ashton.
You know, this only took me about an hour and a half to read.
This took me 2.5 months to read. Because I didn't want to read it. Because I don't like Jane Austen.
Well, I kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and then finally I was like, I just need to read this book, and it took me like an hour and a half, and I was done.
Yeah, I was like, I also need to just finish it, and then my brain said no more. It literally was like, please, sir, may I have no more? So, I mean, like, that's it. So, Juniper, do we recommend this book?
I mean, I'm pretty neutral on it. I didn't hate it. I didn't think very highly of it.
It's a book and it was written.
Yeah.
And if you want to read it, read it. It's not like, except for one part, it's not like overtly offensive.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty boring, all in all, to be honest.
Yeah. When it got to Charlotte and Mr. Collins, I was like, oh, this is going in a fun direction, and then it ended there.
And then it didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are we reading next?
Ride, Sally, Ride by the infamous Doug Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't say I'm excited for the next one.
We're only reading this because it was free on Kindle. If we had to pay for it, wasn't going to happen. Because Doug Wilson is a piece of shit.
In Juniper's opinion, Doug Wilson is a piece of shit.
In most of anybody's opinions of Doug Wilson, he's a piece of shit. Unless you're in his cult.
My goal for the next episode, Juniper, is to not get sued.
He's not. There's no tangible reason why he would be able to sue us for any reason.
we'll just keep to the book bashing. And, yeah. As long as we don't talk about him as a person being a piece of shit and just his book, it'll be fine.
We can talk about him as a person. We talk about people as people all the time.
Yeah, but we don't talk.
Us.
I mean, we're not big enough to be sued yet.
We're not big enough to be sued. Nobody listens to this podcast.
Not anymore. It's been like 7 months since we last put something out.
It's fine. It's all just opinion, except for everything that is publicly available for anybody, which is
It's
most
true.
of the things.
If you like to read up on Christ Church, feel free to read the Vice article that's out.
Yeah. The Vice article. There's, what's it called? The Truth About Moscow. There's a whole Facebook group.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's tons of public stuff. So there's no reason anybody would.
Yeah. Like, I just want to cover my ass, that's all. Anyways.
There's no reason to. Yeah, so that's what we're reading next.
I guess. Sorry, I'm getting I'm hearing all the harsh vocals and it's distracting me to no end. All right. We did it. We finally did our first episode in 2022.
Yep.
To be fair, we did try to do 2 episodes, but the audio and computers and technology were not allowing it to happen. So.
What was the last book we tried to do, too, where we were like, let's just skip this?
Oh! You mean the poop story you made me read?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm still mad about that.
I didn't make you read anything. You didn't have to read it.
You're like,
you could have
you know,
come
you
on
should
this
read
podcast and been like, I didn't read it. I didn't want to.
But then it's not a good conversation. I can't jump in. Yeah. But it's honest, I just thought it was about a story about someone having a good poop. It's about that and more.
Yeah, it's...
I did not expect that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah.
That was a really weird one.
I did not like that at all. I did not want to talk about it. I did not want to be... I think I messaged you saying, Juniper, I want to talk on the podcast why I can't be your friend anymore, and it has to do with this book.
Hey, we look for bad books.
We also look for controversial books, and nothing was as worse or as controversial as that book. And we read a racist book.
I don't think it was controversial as much as it was just...
Okay.
Just out of weird, out of left field,
It wasn't in a field, it was in a different state.
It also just wasn't long enough to make a podcast for.
We read 2.
Yeah, but there just wasn't enough to talk, you know?
Yeah, I guess. It could have been short. We can do a short episode every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
But I really did not want to talk about that book.
Well, that's what this podcast is for, so I think you need to get over that a little bit.
Look, I'll talk about all the stuff you want to talk about. I just don't want to talk about a book where a woman uses her turd to masturbate with. Like, I think that's where I'm going to draw the line.
Okay. I mean, I don't think that there's any more turd
MJ
stories,
Edwards.
so...
Yeah. Well, I hope not. There probably is like a genre for that. A niche. Yeah. Anyway, we're just rambling at this point, so we should probably just... Alright, well, thank you for listening to Who Wrote This Shit. We'll be back in another 7 months, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? So, we'll just talk to you guys later.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Who Wrote This Shit. Our cover art is done by our very own Juniper Harvey Morose. Intro and outro music by Riley Tennyson. Editing by Aaron Poole and Hope Harvey Morose. You can follow us on Instagram under Girls Book 3. If you have book recommendations, please feel free to email us at girlsbook3@gmail.com. If you like the show, please rate, review, and share it. Episodes will also be uploaded to our website.